just goes balls deep on the tendon. Healers, and there is no mistake here. You see this corruption at 45k? That's meant to happen because we know that there is a stun coming up soon, and what happens during this, you only have like 20 seconds of DPS time on the Seal Armor Breach, okay? Your healers are going to switch to this corruption and kill it before the stun goes off. None of your DPS have to spend a single GCD, have to spend an ice block to reset AB sites, you know, whatever. All right, you don't have to pay any attention to that corruption, and that is only done through trimming correctly and doing, you know, having the timings down. And that doesn't come automatically. It's going to come through lots and lots and lots and lots of repetition. All right, so we're going to play this out real quick. Okay, you see the corruption, the stun's coming up. Opti was a healer that we had. He was playing as Shaman for this fight. He would call healer switch and say it's even a little bit high, so you fucked up your timing. Shit happens, right? You know, call for a tank to help. A tank with full vengeance on this fight is going to be able to do a lot of damage, and you can trim that thing down really quick. So, you know, Cameron basically said, healer switch, we kill the corruption. Me, I'm up there DPSing, you know, probably about 700k worth of damage from Dancing Rune Weapon and things like that. As a tank even. Every little bit matters, alright? So let's see here. New Amalg spawning. Abs goes back there and picks that up. Let's see when the Spirit Link finally does go down. Or maybe I missed it, it was from before. But, yeah, actually, let's go back and find that. Let's go back and find when the Spirit Link was dropped. I gotta look at the ground here. Waiting for the Spirit Link. Interesting. Alright, whatever. We'll find it in a minute. Anyways, so first plate is done. Let's see what we got the tendon to here. Okay, tendon 45, 42. Okay, 40. A little bit under 42% on the first pop. No lust, no potions, nothing. Alright, so that's what we were dealing with. Again, this is pre-nerf. People still in a lot of Firelines gear and things like that. So in before, oh my god, we got it to 28% last week. Okay, grats. This was like 2 months ago. Alright, anyways, moving on. At this point, okay, remember what I said? The benefit to having the extra Amalgs up and not rolling them off is we already have that Amalg to 66%. Alright, so you guys might not think that's a lot, but that's over 10 million damage, like that you bought for free by not rolling them off. And the only downside to not rolling at the beginning, which I see a lot of guilds do, and I'm trying to discourage that. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just trying to tell you the only downside to not doing that is I'm pretty sure if you roll quick enough, you don't even get the debuffs. I could be wrong on that, but because we've never really done it, but I think that may be the case. Anyways, the main downside to that is you don't want to. There's just not. You're adding taint damage, but the taint damage at that point is negligible. I mean, it's again, these Amalgs have no stacks, and you're buying yourself free damage by not doing it, by allowing dots to roll on the secondary target and things like that. Okay, so moving on here. We're getting set back up. I've got 3 Amalgs. Then we have our bear tank go over here. He's tanking the Amalg that's going to be pulled through off to the side over here where my mouse is. Let's see. I've got the 3 Amalgs here. These are just going to be rolled off. Again, right here I'm taking so little bit of damage. I mean, you guys can feel free to watch my raid frame. I barely dip below 75%. And I'm wearing a DPS weapon at the moment with Fallen Crusader on it just for added damage on the tendon. I mean, optimally, I would probably switch to a tangy weapon here, but again, there was just no threat whatsoever. So, we got the corruption going off here. You want to time it where you can go when the corruption is. You want to pop the plate when you're going to have the corruption at sub 5%, because that way healers can kill the corruption to avoid you getting the stun during the burning tendon. Okay. Let's see here. So with that said, we're just going to go into play. You see this one here is we're trimming it down. One of the mages is responsible for trimming that. You see he's getting it to, he got it to 800k. We've got all the bloods. The corruption is about to stun. We're going to see it's about, you do about 25 5-ish% damage to the corruption when the stun goes out. All right. So what happens here is we've got it to 27%. We know the stun is coming up as we're pulling this through. The stun is going to happen. The mages ranged are going to switch to this and nuke it down to about 2 or 3%. Again, disciplined DPS. Okay. And then with that said, we've got this thing trimmed to about 800k. And let's see how this plays out. How many ticks we get. All right. 9 bloods. Okay. Again, another thing with the Disc Priest, you know, you want to have the barrier for the second pop on every single plate. You have the barrier for the second pop. Barrier is the strongest raid cooldown. And, you know, Affinity, he would pop that every second pop on every plate. So you have the second pop on the first plate. You have the second pop on the second and third plate. And on the third plate, that is huge. You know what I mean? Like, if you have 2 warriors in the raid, you can always have a raid last stand-up as well. If you have a Prod Paladin, the DSAC, you know, Vamp Blood, the benefit to having a DK on this fight, which is pretty big, is you have Vamp Blood on a 1-minute CD, all right? And having that on a 1-minute CD means it's up for every single time Spirit Link is dropped, pretty much. It's up for every single explosion that an Amalg does. You're giving the entire raid 20% more healing done. And when healers are trying to fight the debuffs and things like that, that turns out to be pretty huge, okay? So I can get back to this. Let's see how many pulses we get. Okay, here we go. We finally get a Spirit Link. Okay, let's look at the Spirit Link just dropped. Let's go back here before it's dropped. Let's see. This actually wasn't dropped in a optimal fashion, and as you can see here in raid chat, picks a Spirit Link. You want to wait for people to be low with the debuff. That's the whole point. You're not dropping Spirit Link for 10% damage mitigation. You know, 10% at this point, you might as well wipe your ass with. You know, you need that for the healers to help save mana by removing debuffs. And whenever this is happening, you want to be tossing heals into people that don't have the debuff, because it's just going to help redistribute it out to all the people that do have the debuff. Okay, so we have the barrier, we have Vamp Blood, and you see Vamp Blood activated there in chat, and you're going to see the debuffs just get stripped off of everyone because the Spirit Link is down. Okay, but you don't want to be popping Spirit Link during the explosion. You want to do it either before, like after you say your strat is to AoE down all the bloods, and you have people with debuffs, and you AoE down all the bloods, and then that gets them to 10%. The key is to get the people with the debuff low, then pop Spirit Link to let it strip them off. All right. If people aren't low, it's not really going to help you out nearly as much. All right. So we're gonna pop it here. See, Tendon pops up at 41%. Debuffs are pretty under control. We have 1, 2, 3, only 3 out, and we already have 5 people, including all 3 tanks with the tank buff. Okay. So this is going to be an easy pop for us here. Again, you see the corruption at 3%. You're going to hear, or if we had sound on with Vent, you could hear Cameron call the switch. He calls out for healers to DPS that. You know, no big deal. It's like 20k. Abs goes back here. He picks up that Amalg. He's getting the bloods. I have these Amalgs up here on me, DPSing the Tendon. Okay. During this is when I switch back to the tanking weapon, because I'm going to be taking a lot more damage on this plate than I was the first plate. Okay. When this happens, okay, there's two different things that you can deal with here. Okay. Or actually 3 different options. You could A, choose not to roll, B, which is very, very rough on healing, all right, and highly discouraged, I guess would be the best way to put it. You can choose to roll immediately, which would get the current Amalgs active and things like that. Or, you know, the third option, which is the one we ended up going with after trial and error on a lot of the other ones, because initially we were like, let's roll immediately, let's come out of it, but it wasn't consistent enough. The reason I wanted to roll immediately is because I was pretty infatuated with the fact that it saved time, you know, but in reality it didn't really save that much time. It made things a lot less consistent. Okay, so what we ended up doing was you assign, like for us, we have melee kill top left, and we have ranged kill, we call it the extra one, because you're always going to have the 2 spawn underneath the plate. You always have melee kill the one on the left, and then you're going to have one left up between that's on the previous plate. That's the one ranged kill. You tell them to kill the extra one. Okay, so basically what's happening here is melee are killing the front left, and ranged are killing the extra. All right, now we have all the stuff here. Both of those are dying. You want to call for people to get in before the corruption dies, okay? You don't want to wait. One second, my dog is barking. One sec. Be right back. Alright, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably chasing a cat or something. Anyway, so, again, you want to call for people to get inside the tendrils things. This is what keeps you from getting rolled off. You want to call for that before the corruption is dead, okay? You don't want to call it too quick, because then you're just going to have people getting rolled off because you can't be hooked in if there's still a corruption in the hole. But around 10% or less, you want to call for people to start getting in, okay? And then you have everybody getting in. A key thing, if you're a tank here, you need to make sure that you're quick with nameplate selection. You need to be taunting the amalg that spawns inside of this from the corruption dying. Alright? So you're going to see here, it'll probably say, yeah, see me taunting the one that spawned in my hole, and then Abs in his. Alright, so those get rolled off. You come out of this. This is whenever coming out of the... You have a lot of debuffs and stuff like that active coming out of rolls. Rolls are pretty rough, but you don't want to use really... Cooldowns aren't necessarily required for rolls. Me personally, I think that cooldowns are better suited for, you know, outside of rolls. So coming out of this is when we use like, you know, off-spec hymns, tranks, things like that. And yeah, you'll see what's going up here. We're going to use a spirit link here. I think this is Cameron's spirit link coming up at this point. He's basically waiting on my Vamp Blood to come up. And... here we go. He drops Spirit Link right here, and Vamp Blood. Okay, there's Vamp Blood. So basically, this is going to strip every debuff off because you have Vamp Blood. You have, I think we even have Diggs' 4-piece. Our Feral Druid goes Bear Form during the rolls and goes gets the Frenzy Regen buff on the entire raid, which is 30% increased healing. Then you have Vamp Blood's 20% increased healing, and then you have a Spirit Link totem. You're basically making debuffs trivial, okay? So we're gonna play it out here. We have the Spirit Link down at a very good time. You know, that's that is actually, yeah, again, that's Opti's Spirit Link, and right here, boom, like it's as clean as a whistle. You have 3 debuffs out. I mean, that's, and then all those people are at full health. You know, I mean, this is as clean as it's going to get. Right now, you have me tanking the one Amalg. The limiting factor on this second plate is right here at this point. You want to get this first Amalg as low as possible, as quick as possible, while being able to still have the bloods on the ground. Alright? So we're going to play it out here. We have DPS focusing this pretty heavy. Once Abs had about probably 10 or 15 bloods, you know, just not just 9, you want to have a little bit extra just in case. He calls out for me to start picking bloods up. So at that point, I'm picking bloods up while tanking the Amalg. Alright, it's not that trying, even though you're really not a block tank as a DK, because they don't do that much damage, and you're able to have some pretty fat blood shields rolling most of the time. Again, as a tank and as anyone in the raid, you want to make sure that you're standing inside the healing rain. Okay, so you see people here, they're getting, the debuffs are trying to, you know, catching up, getting a few more, and people are getting low because bloods are dying. And again, every time a blood dies, you're looking anywhere between like 20 and 30k damage. It's physical, so it depends per person what it's going to be hitting for. So you're looking at, you know, a significant amount of damage per blood that's popped. And when people have debuffs, that adds up pretty quick. So that's the reason you can't just go, you know, LOL bro storm and just, you know, say fuck it, I'm blade storming, and then expect things to go smooth. You know, people are going to start dying. Okay, random example, nothing behind that, but yeah, something that, you know, could be possible. All right, so. We're going to look here. We've got a mage that's like super low. You just saw me at like 1%. This Spirit Link here is like spot on. Like, could not be better. Doesn't say who dropped it in the raid status announce. It's weird. I guess the person is, so it wasn't Opti. That was probably Zarus's, if I had to guess. That was perfectly timed Spirit Link, and you can see here that's timed with Vamp Blood. So you have the 20% healing. It's another benefit of the blood DK again. You see the healers also are doing a really good job spreading out the tank buff. Okay, the tank buff is going around to many, many people throughout the fight. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, you've got like basically you're getting to the point to where 1/3 of your raid at this on the second plate already has the 20% damage reduction on them. Okay, so we taunt. Abs pulls the Amalg that I was tanking through the line of bloods that he has on the ground. All right, and you see, let's see how many pulses we get here. That is pulled through at 165,000 HP. Okay, like that is really good. So I'm pretty sure we're only going to get 1 tick out of this. So let's check it out. 1 and boom, perfect. Can't do it any better than that. All right. So tendon's up. I'm actually going to go in here and get a little DPS in on the tendon again while tanking bloods. I mean, you can kind of position yourself to still dodge and shit, but it's not even really that big of a deal if you have to turn your back to tanking 6 or 7 bloods, because you're going to be death striking on the tendon, and those bloods are going to have a really hard time trying to break through your blood shield as it is. And I mean, it's just not really that big of a deal. So just put caution. I mean, just go in there and burn as hard as you can burn. Don't worry about your positioning if you're playing Blood DK at this point. The new Amalg spawns. Abs picks that up with his bloods. He's going to tank it here in the back and pick up new bloods. Okay. At this point, we tank swap. Okay. Whereas he was tanking the bloods up front before, and I was tanking the Amalg in the back, he's tanking the Amalgs, and I'm tanking the bloods. He's still got some bloods on him, but I am getting up here. And the reason we start making this transition is because on the third plate, I'm going to be the one up there doing what I'm doing now. So we just made the transition now instead of on the third plate. That way he can focus on just picking bloods up and things like that. Okay, so you see debuffs are getting people pretty low, getting caught up in things like that. So we got bloods down. You see me tanking all these up here. Affinity doesn't have nameplates on. There's no point for a healer really to have nameplates on for bloods. You want to suppress that. That's just another random tip I would give anybody playing this fight. If there's no reason for you to see corrupted blood nameplates, turn them off, because all you're going to do is be having like a just brutal time dealing with like especially unless you have like a top of the line computer. It's going to lag the shit out of you once you get on the third plate. All right. Not to mention your view space is going, it's just overwhelmed by nameplates. All right, so basically what happens here, it's a little bit more of the same, working on timing, getting the Amalg down. The melee that are assigned to killing bloods, as you can see up here where I'm at, we're killing bloods. If you're the tank up here, you're constantly wanting to be taunting low % bloods out of the pile here and things like that. You want to have at least 8 you want to have at least 9, if not more, bloods on the ground. Okay, it's not gonna. And another thing is, people see like a lot of times it's like, oh my God, they're killing more than 9. That's so sloppy. That's actually false. Killing 10, 11, or even 12 is a really huge benefit, because I'll get into that in a minute, especially on the second plate. On the first plate, not so much, because you can kind of keep up with bloods as they're spawning. But on the second plate's where you start falling behind on bloods. So killing a few extra bloods is beneficiary, because once you go to roll, you can pull the Amalgs that are about to get rolled off over bloods, and then you can remove, even if it's 6, 7, 9, 10, whatever, bloods from the equation. That's that many seconds you're buying yourself on the third plate. Because remember, there is no hard enrage on this fight. The enrage is getting overwhelmed by bloods. That's the enrage. All right, so we're going to hit play here. Basically what we're doing, keeping the bloods down, trimming the Amalg, waiting for the correct stun to pull it through. It's just all timing. All right. Here we go again. We have a Spirit Link. This is Pix's. Pretty good time at this point. Better than the first plate. You see the debuffs that are out. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 debuffs out. People are kind of low. You can see the Spirit Link going down. Sometimes I don't VB on the second pop because I want to have it for the roll. I don't remember if I did here or not. It literally just kind of, it's a judgment call based on the % of the raid going into it. If you guys are following along with that link I linked earlier, somebody else can put the link in chat for anybody that's joining. All right, but we're at 6:31 here. I'm going to hit play. We're about to taunt this Amalg through. Here we go. You see me taunt it. See, the Spirit Link is helping. Okay, I popped Vamp Blood to go in with that Spirit Link a little bit late, but I still got it off during the duration. We're going to pull this Amalg through. It's at 600k. Okay, it's at 200k going into Nuclear Blast. That's good. Again, second pop of every plate, you have a barrier down. All right, Affinity spot on with the barrier. Here we go. Barrier's up. You got 1 tick, and then boom. That's, again, perfect. You know, that was as good as you're going to get it. 1 tick is awesome. 2 ticks, pretty common. 3 ticks or more, no dice. All right. So it's going to be a pretty easy pop for us. You're going to have 1 here in the back, 1 corruption that just died. So we got the Amalg spawning. You saw it just run over a blood. It's no big deal. All right. So boom, plates off. Here's game time. All right. First 2 plates, you're going to learn those through repetition. All right. That's fine. But the 3rd plate is the fight. Okay. The first 2 plates, it's whatever. You know, you're going to get through just enough time. But this fight is a fight that basically starts on the 3rd plate. That's when you have all the variables in play. The, you know, ridiculous amount of bloods, the ridiculous blood spawn rate. You have 3 permanent tanks. You know, this is basically taking a DPS off of the tendon because you know, this a Feral Druid just shines so hard on this. All right, so you have the Feral Druid going bear, helping pick up bloods because they're spawning so fast. A lot of guilds use a Prot Warrior to kite. It's doable with a Prot Paladin. It's even the DK that we interviewed on Thursday, man. He was a DK that kited bloods, you know. I mean, it's doable. It's all about the player. Now, you know, I would make a strong suggestion to use a block tank because, I mean, that DK that did it, that's, you know, super badass of him. But you're fighting a battle going uphill in the mud, you know, without shoes on, basically. I mean, it's just, you're setting yourself up for a pretty rough trip. If you've got a warrior, put the warrior kiting because of intervene, intercept, charge, heroic leap, you know, I mean, you name it, dude. I mean, the warrior is king as far as kiting goes. But you want someone that can stun. If you're going to have a DK or even a druid doing it, that's cool and all, but you're going to have to outsource a lot of extra shit to help him kite. You're going to have holy paladins with the glyph in for holy wrath. You're going to have priests using life grips. You're just adding a lot more points of failure in the equation. Doable, just not optimal, all right? So moving on. We're going to the 3rd plate here. All right, the tendon's about to pop. Here we go. Boom, 3rd plate. All right. Same deal. Ranger on the extra. That's the one in the back, and then melee on front left. So we're going to see what this happen. As far as tanks, you kind of want to make sure you're on the right side just in case of all the dumbasses going left or something trying to roll it. As a tank, you kind of got to feel for what's going on in your role. You're not really helping DPS corruptions. You're picking up bloods. You're picking up Amalgs. You've got a little bit more of a overview of what's going on, so just stand on the right side as you're a tank until you know that it's good to go left. Does help that I'm calling rolls here, so I know when I want us to get in. So I say get in on the left because the thing, remember, sub 10% on the tendon, or the corruption, get in. Here we go. Taunt them out as the tanks. They're going to roll off. This one right here, this is a brutal, 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 brutal point of the fight. That roll right there with all the debuffs going out, let's just count them. Let's count how many debuffs we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 debuffs going out right now, man. And they're just adding to that. People are low as shit. You get up here. You get in the healing reigns. Okay, and you have the VB back up. All right. Here we go. Let's see who Spirit Link gets down. Should be someone's. Okay, there it is. Boom. Cameron's right on time. Like clockwork, all right? Like, you see all these people. He popped it at the perfect time because all these people with the debuffs are so low, all right? And that is when Spirit Link is at its strongest. You need to use the Spirit Link to save your healer's mana, okay? One other thing that I wanted to go over here on the roll real quick. Oh, wait. I'm going to go back to the roll. Okay. There was a little bit of pile of bloods here and things like that. You pull the Amalg over those. Remember, whenever you're killing bloods, you want to kill 1 or 2, just a handful extra, and then pull the Amalg over those bloods to, you know, just save yourself some bloods in the end. You don't want to stop DPS on 25-man at least. I know some guilds do it on 10-man. You maybe could get away with it on 25-man now. But, like, you know, you want to kill a few extra and just eat them off, but you don't want to be like, okay, stop, group them up, AoE, pop cooldowns, soak them up. It's just not worth it, man. It's not worth it. It doesn't matter what you do. Your tank's going to end up kiting. You're wasting time, precious, precious time, by sitting there and healing and cooldowns. All that shit, completely unnecessary. It doesn't make a difference if your tank is kiting 50 bloods or 70 bloods. I mean, he's still going to be kiting an ass load of bloods. All right. you know, by stopping the raid to AoE, pop cooldowns, and heal it up, don't do it. All right, that's, I mean, if you can do it, good on you, but you're not doing it the optimal way. All right, you need to be in and out of everything as quick as possible. Okay, so again, said play here. We soaked a couple bloods up, got them off. We're relatively clean on the blood department going in this last plate here. I've got a few bloods on me. Again, here's Cameron's Spirit Link. Okay, the Feral Druid you can see here digs. He's picking up square. I'm doing nothing but tanking bloods and getting those down. The reason I don't have the Amalgam on me is just because, you know, it's just going to be too much damage at this point with all the other shit healers are having to deal with for them to heal a tanking an Amalgam that's going to be getting stacks on it. So you have the Feral Druid over here tanking by himself with the Amalgam. Then basically the way Absalom would do it, I'm not sure if he's around, but he could give you a little more insight than I could. But the general overview is he would use his Holy Wrath on the back side, and we would use the Ret's Holy Wrath on the front side by the plate, all right? And every time it would go on DR, we would use Life Grip, okay? So, you know, here you see Abs running back with his little army of bloods following him. You see my blood pack up here that we're, you know, chipping away at. You see Troy Blade Storming, signature style right here. At, yeah, like 8:15, you see him going to town. All right, so you see the... you want to know why the Feral Druid moves sides, okay? We hadn't tanked over here because we were going to drag it through, but the Corruption respawned on the top left, okay? Well, because the tank can't be over here, because to get it, he would just pull it across all the bloods, and then, you know, you're screwed, okay? So the tank moves to the side that the Corruption is on, so he can taunt the new Amalgam when it spawns without it eating any blood stacks, all right? With that said, here we're going to play it a bit. You see Abs running all the way up front. All right, he calls for a Wrath. Boom, they're Wrathed for the majority. Takes a little bit of damage, not that big of a deal. You see me picking up low bloods off him. This new Amalgam here, we're going to be going on the next stun. All right, then our mages were calling that. Okay, the next stun that goes off, you're going to see me taunt square through. Okay, here we go. Boom, the stun's going off, and then here's this is actually a pretty good Spirit Link. So this one was Zarus's. All right, Zarus made a judgment call at this point to pop the Spirit Link before the pulse went out because we had people with debuffs that were low. Okay, you want to be popping the Spirit Link before the explosion, or if everybody's top going into the explosion, let the explosion happen and then pop it after. But Zarus made the judgment call because pretty much Turban and Troy and arguably, you know, a couple other people were going to die if he didn't drop that Spirit Link. So that's a judgment call he made. He pops it. We get a Vamp Blood with it. And let's see if we got a Rallying Cry. We should have. Let's see if we did. Don't see it popped up yet. Either way, all right, here we go. 1 pulse and 2 pulses. Not good. If we get 3, it's going to be really rough. Oh, God. All right, 3 pulses on the last plate. We actually did get a Rallying Cry there. That was probably, it was either Juvie or Troy. Actually, no, it was Troy, because Juvie, I don't think was in the raid at this point. Yeah, he popped the Rallying Cry. It was a really good judgment call by Troy, just because we were getting the 3rd tick. He popped the Rallying Cry to compensate. Remember, we're saving everything that we have for this last and final pop. If you blow everything on that pop, you're going to be left, you know, dead in the water for the, you know, 6th and final pop. At this point, you're dealing with, let's see, you're 2 popping 1st plate, 2nd plate, and that's the 3rd plate. So you're dealing with 25% less HP, all right, at this point in the fight, because of the degradation stacks of the Amalgams dying. So, I mean, that's somewhat counterbalanced out of the Shaman HP pool, or Ancestral Vigor, which is giving everybody 10%. So you're still 25% HP lower than what you were on the 1st plate. So these pulses, the grips, the bloods, any bit of raid damage that's going out is a huge, huge deal. All right, so we're going to play it here. You'll see it pop up. Again, Corruption sub 30K. You want to talk about discipline? That's discipline. Don't know if it was 100% like supposed to be that low, but either way it goes, I mean, that's outstanding job by our DPS. 28K Corruption. All right, all that is 1 healer or Abs throws a hammer at it, you name it, man. You sneeze on that and it's dead, and you save yourself, you know, DPS having to switch to it. All right, so we're playing it here. This is the one that you have Lust on. You pop Lust on the 1st tendon on the last plate. You just do. All right. You can pop it at any point, but this is the best place to pop Lust because you've got so much going on, and the next pop, all you've got to do is pop it, and you know, it doesn't matter about healing people up. If they're alive to DPS it, and the damage on this fight, I should have said this at the beginning, the damage on the fight is 100% controlled. You are only going to take damage from a blood bursting, the grip staying on someone longer than it needs to be, rolling, or an amalgam blowing up. Every one of those you can control. So anybody that's taking, I took damage from this, it's not my fault, wrong. It's someone's fault that you took damage, alright? So like, if you're a raid leader and you have someone just trying to throw out some bullshit excuse about like this damage that he's taking, everybody needs to understand that on this fight, especially, there's no raid damage, aura going out, none of that shit. Every bit of this is 100% controlled damage, okay? You want to pop Lust, again, you want to pop Lust here. Everybody's going to town. If your Feral Druid doesn't have a lot of bloods on him, have him go cat and get in whatever damage he can. But on the next pop, no. His sole focus after this first pop, you want to get it below 40% with Lust. You have to. That's more or less a general rule of thumb. 38% or somewhere around that was really good on progression. And, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and play it out here. You see people super low. Affinity saving his barrier for the second pop. You see the new amalgam spawning. You see me. I gave up my DPS on the tendon because we have blood piles here. That amalgam cannot get blood piles on it. So I broke off the tendon. I came over here, taunted the amalgam to keep it from going into the blood. I'm saving it for Diggs because it was more or less Diggs goes and picks it up, who's our Feral Druid, or I go and pick it up. He's going to do a lot more damage than me and Cat. So I go and I pick up the amalgam, and then we switch once the tendon's popped. He picks up the amalgam, I go back to tanking bloods. All right. So we're going to play here. This is with Lust. You see everybody going to town. Everything's actually pretty smooth here. Our healers were playing really solid on this pull. Alright, what percent did we get it to? I wasn't looking. Alright, 48, 48, 46, 43, 42. Alright, 30, probably about 38%. I saw 39 and then it goes down. So you're looking at probably about a 38% tendon. Alright, the hard part about this point in the fight, when you make it past the 5th pop, you're going to have blood spawning at an uncontrollable rate. Like, uncontrollable. You're not going to be able to control the amount of bloods that are spawning. This is probably about like the 10-minute, maybe 11-minute mark of the fight. You're not going to last much longer than this. You've got a very short window to pop the next tendon open and keep the tanks alive with all the bloods prior to them basically overrunning the raid. Healers are going to be getting hit by bloods. If your healers are bitching about it, tell them to, like, you know, deal with it. I mean, tanks need to be picking them up, yes, but there's no way possible that you're not going to be getting hit by bloods at some point in this fight, you know. But, yeah, there's just too many up. Okay, anyways, moving on here to the last pop. You see Abs here, he's still kiting. He's still calling for stuns. The amalgam's up. It's kited around the blood piles. Diggs is tanking over here on the side. Then we have me that's getting all the bloods up here. There's just too many at this point to only AoE down what I have. We have to be really controlled in how many that we kill. Because if you just start AoEing them on me, you're going to end up killing like 15, 20 bloods, and then the whole raid's going to die, all right? So this is crunch time. This is like the hard part of the fight, the hardest part. Okay, you see Abs, he's still coming up here. He's about to get a new Holy Wrath going off. Everybody, things are still going pretty smooth. No one loses their cool. Everybody's still doing their job. All right. Abs is probably about to call for a grip, so you'll see Affinity repositioning. Exactly. Yep, saw that coming. Here's the grip. He grips him. That's good. Resets the DR on the Holy Wraths. The bloods are going, or the debuffs are getting, debuffs are getting out of control at this point. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 debuffs. People with 25% less HP. You know, raid damage is about to throw down. I mean, you just have to make it through this pop, okay? And you're going to see here. The whole point is you've still got to time the stun well. You've still got to time the you got to get the amalgam at the right HP and all that. It's still got to line up. You see here, Pix drops his Spirit Link. You know, not a bad time. You see a lot of people low. We've got it. Might as well use it. We get people topped off before we go into this last amalgam blowing up, because we're going to have DSAC and barrier and all that. So it's a good judgment call by him. Pop the Spirit Link. New amalgam spawning. Diggs is going to pick that up. So he's got a few bloods on him, plus 1 amalgam. He's got a new amalgam coming in. Okay. Now you see me, I've got so many bloods here. It's literally, I'm waiting on them to get the amalgam low enough. All right, that's all I'm waiting on. We've got more than enough puddles on the ground. All right, we got people, Affinity here. I don't know how he didn't die. We got a clutch as Spirit Link, actually. Who is that? Okay, Cameron. Like, saving the day, man. Like, Spirit Link right there pretty much saved Affinity's life and may even save Pix's here. I don't even remember if he died. Yeah, it did. So it saved anybody from dying. You know, best time Spirit Link of the fight. Taunt the Amalg through. I've got IBF up, so I basically need 0 healing at this point. You know, your tank want to make sure you have a cooldown for that. That way healers can pay attention to the raid. Barriers should be going down. Here we go. Barriers down. Everybody's in it. Let's see if last... Okay, we got Frenzy Regen up. We got Barrier. We've got... Let's see what else. If we got Rallying Cry, I'm not sure. No, didn't get a Rallying Cry. Didn't really need it. No big deal. Bloods are everywhere. If you had Vent open, let's just... I think there's Vent at this point in the fight. Let's just go ahead.
Yo, Rigg. Keep Rigg up.
No, it's fine. DPS.
You hear me calling out for DPS. We have a shittily timed stun. I actually wonder who this picked up. Looks like Grim, a mage, and... Okay, looks like it. Weird. That was a block. Okay, no. Okay, boom. Turban got a clutch block off and canceled the... We got lucky with that. We really did. If the first person selected is a mage or a paladin, you can block or bubble it, and it cancels it on everyone. So that was a really good job by Turban. Quick thinking. And you see here, bloods are going everywhere.
Yes! Fuck you!
Okay, so that's the nerd screams and all that involved. Again, that's a U.S. first kill. We're going to go a little bit more in depth with some other people's stuff and things like that. But you know, that fight, you know, I'll take the time to say it publicly. Like, I was really proud of our guild and how we dealt with that, and you know, having to relearn the fight and things like that. It was a really hard fight, and it definitely wasn't easy at that point. All right, a lot of it involved class stacking, but we'll get to that. It's not necessarily as critical at this point, just due to the HP nerfs to both the Tendon and Dragon Soul and things like that, but it's still pretty critical on timing. Okay, we're going to do here, I'm going to show you guys a quick rundown. This is from 10-man. We've killed it on 10-man as well. This is on my second DK. This is from my POV. Basically, see what happens here is we get the Amalgs to spawn. All right, then the debuff's going to go out, 3 of them. Okay, and all the 2 tanks are over here on the right. The rest of the raid is over here on the left. This is a, and if you guys want to see this video, it's located on my YouTube. The links are all over my page. Just go to it. Okay. You see Zonker, he's already got the debuff, and then I'm the only one that needs to be over here on the left, and then I will get the next debuff. Okay, you see right here. It gets dispelled. Okay, and it's on Bond. Bond is over here in the group. It's going to be dispelled off Bond, and since he's on the right, it's going to hop to the left. Okay. At this point, Zonker should be on the right, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's 50-50 shot, whatever. You see it goes to Diggs. That's because Diggs was standing on the wrong side. Okay, it's going to be dispelled off Diggs, and then it actually does go to me. Okay, so, yeah, we're good. Both tanks have it. That's a quick representation of, you know, what it looks like whenever you're dealing with a debuff from side to side. We're going to fast forward here in 10-man. A lot of this stuff is really similar on 10-man. 10-man, you have a little bit more leeway. I mean, again, I've done all the content on 10 and 25-man, and I'm qualified to make judgments on like what's easier and what's not. The fight is easier on 10-man. That does not mean that it's easy. It's still a difficult encounter. It's just, you know, you have a little bit more leeway with timings and HP values and things like that. Okay, so basically we just used our 25-man strat in 10-man. Let's see here. This is... Okay. First tendon on 10-man. I'm just going to burn through this real quick and hit some highlights. I just want to basically show you guys the difference between the amount of bloods that you have up on 10-man compared to 25. It's not even remotely close to the same amount. Okay. You see we're going to roll here. We're on the second plate. Okay, this is second plate. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 7 bloods up, okay? 7 bloods. I mean, it's almost laughable compared to the 25-man values, all right? Go ahead and play here. We're going to fast forward. I mean, the timings are still the same. You want to be popping plates right as you're able to kill the corruption. So you want the corruption at 5% or less as you're about to pop a plate, and then you have like the healer switch, kill the corruption. All that's still the same, okay? Fast forward here. We're going to get on the plays. You can see me here. I've got a few bloods on me. I mean, this is on the first pop of the second plate. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 bloods up. That's it. You have 5, okay? So the corruption is 7%. I'm just DPSing the tendon. 2 bloods on me. New one spawning. Healers kill the corruption right before the grip goes off during the vuln, saving the DPS tons and tons of damage. Okay, then I pick that amalg up. I back up out of the way. Okay, it eats some blood, so it's going to fast forward here. Let's go ahead and get to the second pop and just look at how many bloods we have up. And again, you guys want to be looking at about 90%, or I'm sorry, 90 seconds between pops. That's a good rule of thumb. Let's see. All right, we have 14 residues on the ground. Okay, so we're about to pop the second time on the third or second plate. Again, barrier, second pop of every plate. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bloods up, and you have 8 spawning. I mean, just to contrast that, I'll go back and show you guys a 25-man vid. I mean, you have almost so many that you can't even count. All right. We're going to kill this corruption or this tendon really easily. Then we're going to get in on the roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. Quick pro tip for a tank. If you have stacking nameplates that just jumble everything up in one line or like one pile, turn it off. You need stacking nameplates on this fight. You need to be extremely good at picking out what you need to taunt. You can't just tab through shit. It's not efficient. You need to be able to look at every single health bar, and once you get to like 50, 60 bloods, okay, at that point it automatically stacks because it can't display it all on top of each other. But 20 or less, you definitely need to be able to see. Tank macros, you need to have a target hideous amalgamation macro, because later on in the fight, especially on that third plate, when that amalg spawns, you're going to need to be able to target it ASAP. You're not going to have the time to be like, oh, where's that at? Oh, there it is. Let me select that in the middle of 90 fucking nameplates. Have a macro that targets the hideous amalgamation. And I'm just telling you, on 25-man, yes, you have another tank, but you're not even using that other tank until the third plate. And even on the first 2 plates, the amount of bloods that are active on 10-man is not even comparable to 25-man. And this isn't me insulting a 10-man guild. I'm just telling you the truth of which is more difficult. All right, and this fight in specific is harder on 25-man. Madness, it's arguable it's harder on 10. I mean, War Master, definitely harder on 10-man. I mean, just different fights, different results. This fight is easier on 10-man, as plain and simple. All right, so let's take a look here. We're going into the last plate here. Let's just look at, like, our warrior tank Zonker. He's basically not even kiting yet because he doesn't even have enough bloods on him. He's not even taking enough damage to warrant kiting at this point. So I'm basically taunting as soon as I can to get these off him. He actually starts kiting here. He's probably got around 15, 20 bloods on him. It's not that big of a deal. Let's see. Let's get faster. I'm like able to keep up with the blood spawn rate to the most part. Alright, there's my 9th blood. I've got cooldowns up here. We're going to lust. Boom, that's done. There's his little pile of bloods. I do my best to pick up what he doesn't have, which is a whopping 2 bloods. 3 coming in. Drop a D&D on the healers to keep them from getting threat as much as possible. Get up here and help DPS as much as I can. Alright, so we've got like 4 or 5 bloods on me, and then the rest going on Zonker. Alright. Again, this is not even remotely close to the amount on 25-man. Still a difficult fight, but just to show you guys the contrast. Timings and all that still the same. See the tendon around 30. Stun goes off right after. That's good. Yeah. So that is 10-man more or less. You see bloods actually start piling up here towards the end, which is, you also don't have the amount of healers and things like that on 10-man. I'm not saying it's not balanced well. I'm just saying there's a lot less bloods to deal with. It's a little bit easier to manage, okay? Quite a few bloods up here waiting for the last pop. Need all the bloods to die, and then this amalg, and then we'll see here. Remember, this is on alts and things like that, so DPS is a little harder to come by on these groups. I have quite a few bloods on me. I'm going to run up here, get a few hits in. I know it's probably too many to just sit there and take in the back. So my priority at this point is to stay alive. So I'm just running around helping get bloods off healers, and then it dies. Okay, so that's the fight in 10 men. All of these videos are located on my YouTube. You can go to those and things like that. Okay, with that said, at this point, I'm going to start answering a few people's questions about anything that you guys want to know about the fight. And I have Lindorn in here. We're going to go over some of his vids and things like that and logs really quick. So if you guys have questions, I'm not going to be able to scroll up and pick out other questions. You guys do me a favor and just repost if you have any questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer all of them within a certain amount of time. All right. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys like Burning Tendon breakdown. This is our second kill, because that was the number one. I mean, when you're picking classes for this fight, as far as DPS goes, you need Burning Tendon damage. Okay, that is priority 1. All right, and you want to make sure you have all the raid buffs covered. That goes for everything from. I would just recommend using the MMO raid comp calculator thing. All right, use that and make sure that you have everything covered. That's the reason that the Warlock was in the raid, for the 5% spell crit debuff on the mob, as well as COE. Moonkins, we actually ended up doing that with the Moonkin because Juvie, I think, oh, this is our second kill. We actually added Moonkin to that. But yeah, on our first kill, I don't think we had a Moonkin in. But once we killed it once, it got a little, I mean, this is a fight that gets exponentially easier with gear. So I'll just leave this up for you guys while I'm going over these questions. This was our Burning Tendon breakdown for our second kill. The log expired for our first one, but yeah, I'll see what I can do by getting that back. So let's see here. When I'm up there DPSing the tendon, am I concerned about bloods hitting me in my back? Yes, I mean, you can kind of position yourself where they don't, but if it's a very few amount of bloods, then it doesn't matter. You know, you're going to have a blood shield active from DPSing the tendon. They're not going to break through it. If you've got a ton of bloods on you, then yeah, but at that point, you're not really worried about DPSing the tendon. How do you deal with grips properly? You have range switch to it and DPS it, and they've got to be really disciplined with their DPS. They've got to use shit like, Arcane Mages are really strong on that. I know Warlocks are pretty rough because they've got to, they've got to have dots and all that, happy shit on the target. But some classes are better at it than others. Ellie Shaman aren't that bad. Things like that. You want to have stuff that can provide really, really quick burst. All right. Why did I have my bear tank Amalgs on the end instead of bloods? Because I was tanking bloods and he was tanking the Amalg. Didn't really matter. Do you at any point use Hard Strike to DPS? Yes, if I'm DPSing, I use Hard Strike on my blood runes. I pretty much use Death Strike on any non-blood runes, though, at all times. What is the hardest fight for a tank in 10-man for Heroic DS? I'm trying to keep this limited to Spine questions only. So if you guys got a question about non-Spine stuff, please post it on my Twitter. How did we handle the demotivation that night of occurred post Solar Beam hotfix? I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty good question. It's one Center asked. Whenever Solar Beam got, I mean, we were so close, and I'm going to show you guys a vid before this is over of just like the very end of our Solar Beam, one of our Solar Beam pulls where we had a heartbreaking low % wipe. I mean, it. After doing a whole week's worth of pulls and things like that, and, being so close to a kill, and then them changing Solar Beam and, the stuns, as we were killing them inside the Solar Beam and the stun, the bloods didn't explode. That got changed. I mean, it was literally having to relearn the entire fight almost. We went from rolling one time total to having to roll every plate, or after the second and third plate. I mean, it just changed everything because we were like machine gunning Amalgs. We would have like 4 ready to go, and we would just pop, because you didn't have to deal with the damage. So, I mean, to answer your question, it was just like getting punched in the nuts as hard as you could get punched in the nuts and having to get back up from it. So, yeah, but we made it happen. Solar Wrath reset the swing timer on the bloods if a prop paladin is kiting. No idea, man. how did we deal with the grips properly? Yeah, like I said, we had the range switch to it and DPS it down. Zonker actually made a mod for us that told how much damage people did per grip in a total. So we would know when people wouldn't switch. You wouldn't have to play the game of, oh, well, I switched, and then having to argue with people. You had a little mini parse report every time that we popped. I mean, that's a benefit to having a add-on guy in your guild. I mean, Zonker is amazing with that stuff that he does. And, we had an add-on that told us who was switching to break stuns. And once people were held accountable, lo and behold, shit starts to happen correctly. There's no coincidence. That's why accountability and discipline are good. Let's see. We're on Resto Shaman, Disc Priest, Holy Paladin is our healer, and Prot Pally and Blood Tank suggestion for cooldowns. Yeah, you want to AM every other one, and then the one you don't have AM for, as far as the amount blows up, you want to have a barrier for. You can also have the Prot Pally DSAC if people are low going into it. You want to have VB up for every single Malg explosion and things like that. That's a really strong comp that you have there. If you guys want me to audit your armory, put it on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter and link it there. Again, this is Spine only today. How are your casters controlling the DPS so accurately on Corruption and Mal just before stacking props, particularly the Arcane Mages with DTR? It's just being disciplined, man. You don't have shit. You don't have you don't put dots up. Even if it's going to lower your damage, you don't put anything that's going to leave a residual damage effect on the mob. It's just pure discipline. People understanding. We cannot. That's at those times right there. That's why you guys hear me harp on it so often. That you don't want to have people that are selfish in your raid, because those selfish people are the people that do more damage because they're like, oh man, I'm higher on the meters. I'm so good. Wrong. You're fucking over the the raid, and you're not really doing your part to contribute to win. Even if you're doing lower damage, you're doing controlled damage. And you have people calling out when to start, stop, and all that. And people have to be disciplined. And that's why we're so, focused on having a disciplined environment. It's just times like this. Because you don't just do whatever you want all through farm, and then progression throws itself out there. And it's like, okay, guys, let's play perfect and be disciplined. It's not a light switch that you flip on and off. You play like you fight like you train like you fight, all that. So all that stuff. That's more or less your answer to that. What's the hardest fight for a tank? Not getting into that. Let's see. How many people and such on the grips? It just depends. You need to do about 400k damage to the thing. That's probably changed with the nerf and things like that. But yeah, that was what it was pre-nerf. What's the best way to handle the debuffs? My raid is having trouble stacking the damage reduction on the raid properly. I already went over that. The debuff is 100% controlled. It hops from side to side. I'm going to have this whole clip on YouTube tomorrow, so if you need to go back and either listen to it, show it to your guild, whatever, you guys make sure to get the link off YouTube. The YouTube link is posted all over this page. Go to my YouTube, subscribe, and I have those on there every week, and you guys can re-watch it and just watch what I'm saying as I'm saying it and play it back if you need to. And if you still have questions, throw it up on my Twitter, and I will answer every single one of them. But just again, the debuff hops from side to side, and it morphs every fourth or so dispel. So you basically have tanks on one side and the raid on the other. Dispel, 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 and then it goes to the tank, and then that tank gets it. He moves in with the raid, and you have the only people that need it on the left, and they keep getting it. So we had all three tanks with it within the first 30 seconds of 90% of the pulls. With the Blood DK and a Feral Druid tank in a 10-man, who should tank the Bloods and the Amalgs? It doesn't matter, man. They both have their pros and cons. I'd probably put the DK on the Amalgs and the Blood on the Feral Druid on the Bloods, just due to better, thrash, swipe, shit like that. And the DK's got, an Amalg that's hitting a little slower and things like that. A DK's a lot stronger. Our guild seems to be having issues with damage during blood cleanup right before flipping Deathwing. I'm guessing about blood, like I was saying, you don't want to stop and do blood cleanup. You just want, when you're killing bloods, kill a few extra, and then when you're rolling it, just pull the extra Malgs over that. You don't want to dedicate time to doing that because you're just slowing it down. It's doable, but it's not optimal, alright? No, none of Zonker's add-ons are public, sorry. Let's see. How many bloods do you kill throughout the fight? My healers should always start whining when I'm trying to do high AoE. You only need to kill enough bloods to be able to use the Amalg, so no more than, I would say, 12 per Amalg. You don't want to have more than 12 bloods killed. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. If healers are able to keep up with that, throw a few more in and soak them on the roll. Do you have a special way of controlling how many bloods you guys have going into the final plate, or is it all about timing? Yes, it's all about timing, and there's nothing special to it. Those bloods are static, and if you guys need to understand this, a lot of people are confused. Bloods are restricted to nothing but time. You can set on the first plate and do nothing, and if you just sit there on the first plate for 10 minutes, bloods will be coming out at a ridiculous rate. It doesn't go up as you go through the plates. It goes up just due to time in the encounter, all right? It's not like, I mean, if you could get to the third plate in 5 minutes, you would have no bloods. It's not like once you're at the third plate, bloods start spawning out of every hole. They spawn out of one hole at a time, and they just increase spawn rate as the fight goes. We're using cat and bear form with thick hide as our third tank. Would it be better to get a dedicated third tank? Since we seem to get the 6 amount, then we died of tank deaths. Let's see. No, you want to have that feral druid. Your tanks just need to be better with managing cooldowns. I mean, make sure that you're getting that tank 20% debuff on them. That's pretty key, man. So you got to make sure that you're having them with that debuff. Okay. Let's see. 10 and add-on. No, again, it's private. We didn't use a hunter on progression on that fight at all. So, I mean, some people can argue, well, hunters are really good. Well, you know, we didn't use it. So if somebody did and they did good, congrats on you. We didn't use one. Any tips for keeping bloods off the healers on the third plate? Again, you're going to have bloods getting on the healers, all right? It's just going to happen. You're just going to have to do as good a job as you can at picking them up as a tank, but healers are going to take hits and things like that. Let's see. Troy doing the bloods alone? No, he's not. We had like our red paladins, him, and our warriors on it. On the third plate, yeah. So that's caught up with questions here. Lindorn, are you still here? I'm just curious. This guy's still here. I wanted to go over some stuff with him and things like that. While we're waiting on him to reply, okay, he's here. I want to go ahead and show you guys real quick. This is a clip that, I mean, a few people have saw it, and it's talked about in some of the vids, but this was our, what the fuck? Okay, this was our solar beam. This is back before anybody killed it. I mean, you can just see the amount of bloods that we had up at this point. I mean, it was pretty ridiculous here. This was, let's see, going in here. You get the amalgam here. I think this was the final pop. I'll see here. One sec. God damn, Affinity's like DDR music. Okay. This was going to be our final pop. And, again, this is solar beam, pre-solar beam hotfix, and just to show you guys kind of how close. It's actually a pretty fun fight with a solar beam, even with having to deal without the bloods and things like that. I mean, you just see how many bloods we have active here. This is probably like a 12-minute pull, I think, 12:08 or something like that. Malag's dying. We have bloods on Brightleaf here. He dies. I'm pretty sure he onks. And this is one we're supposed to kill it on. I think we have a tank die. And this is back. I mean, this was without a stacked comp at all. Yeah, I mean, it's just you were doing like 33% per tendon pop. You were basically doing the fight with 2 pops on the first one with Lust, and then the next 2 were 3 pops. Stars actually did do it with the 3 popping it and things like that. That was really, really impressive. That's probably the most impressive kill that I saw out of any guild this tier, was their 2-3 pop of spine progression. So, okay, that is all the Blood Legion material for this fight. Real quick, I know this is, pretty lengthy, but, I like doing shit really thorough, and again, I'll have this up for YouTube. It's not like you guys are just going to be able to see it here and things like that, but I'm going to go through Lindorn's a couple of his vids that he submitted. This is a stream viewer, and like I said, this is something that I like doing for you guys, being able to take things that you submit, and during these weekly sessions, just go through these and learn, help you guys learn, and just offer advice and answer any questions. Okay, so we've got a vid from him here. I'm going to use that to go through it, and I also have a log real quick that I'm going to open up. One sec. Okay, here's some of the logs. Okay, so what we're going to do here, real quick, I'm actually going to take like a 5-minute break, run a couple commercials, and we're going to get back to this from a guild who's still working on this fight on progression. This is a Blood DK POV, so this is awesome for me because, I mean, that's what I play. I'll be able to offer really like intimate insight on this and things like that. So, yeah, going to run a couple commercials, get some drink, get something to drink, and be right back here, and we're going to go through this real quick. It's not going to be more than about a half hour longer. All right, so be right back.
This is Ford Truck Month, and time to join the Stampede, a force made up of the...
How do I get commercials on my own fucking stream? Alright, we gotta wait for the people that are getting these commercials, so we're running like 2 more and then we're gonna start. I try not to give you guys too many commercials when we're doing these, but yeah. That is how I end up being able to fund this stuff, so. Alright, one more, and then we're going to go. Alright. After this, we're starting it. Okay, Lindorn, I'm going to send you a PM. I'm going to have you add me on Skype real quick. If you have it. If not, whatever. We'll make it work. Okay. Now that those commercials are over, I just sent you the thing on Skype. You go ahead and add me on Skype, and I'm going to give you a call while we're going over this. But with that said, I'm going to toss his link to this video that we're watching into chat. And I want you guys to follow along here. We're going to more or less be going along with him as he is showing us how his guild does the fight, and just look at little things that they could change, and you know, anything like that. So let's see here. So landing, cancel parachute macro. That's good. Just a piece of advice. I mean, you've got like a lot going on your screen. If you could scale down the UI a bit. Whoever the UI this is, help them out. I mean, you can barely. You only got like Probably 60% view space. A lot of it's covered up with, these could be a lot smaller and things like that, but nonetheless. Let's see how you guys deal with the first roll. Alright, we got 3 amalgs up, I think. Yeah. Okay. Alright, real quick. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and add him on here on Skype, and then we're going to give him a call and go through this with him. Hey man, what's up?
Hey.
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna turn you up here. The stream. I'll pull you over here. This is Lindorn stream. Lindorn stream. Okay, so you're on the stream. I just want to have you on Skype. That way we can, just get the one-on-one. Like, you can tell me kind of what's going on. I can offer a little bit of insight and things like that. So, if the stream cannot hear him at all, or if he's too loud, just post something in chat, and then I will adjust. I will adjust his volume. So, yeah, thanks for hopping on here, and thanks for providing these vids and being part of this weekly thing that we got going on, first and foremost. So, glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's pretty cool to be on this with you guys.
Okay. So, that said, I've got the video open. Right now I'm at 36 seconds from this DK's POV. Actually, is this the video you sent me, right? This one, or no?
This one is the Death Knights, and I also sent you one with mine as well.
Okay. If you could relink that one in Skype, the link that you gave me had like some dots in it, so it like bugged out. I think it was a. Okay, so I'll go ahead and play this one real quick. I want to have yours, that way if your UI's a little cleaner, it'll be better. So let's see. Are you guys? So let's just go through this right here. What's really going on right here about the 45-second mark? It seems that you guys have all the amalgs up. Are you guys not rolling at the beginning, or?
Yeah, at the beginning, we're just we're getting the 3 like you guys did, and we're taking one down and splitting up with another one, and we're keeping all the tanks on the left. On the Thursday, you talked about the debuff, and we incorporated that to our strat, and we got all the tanks with the debuffs right away, and we have the 3 amalgs there.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and load yours. Let me see what your UI looks like. I just turned you up, so hopefully the stream will be a lot better. Okay, yeah, this is a lot cleaner. That's good. I'm going to let yours buffer on 1080p, and then we're going to go back to his. So, you guys heard more or less what he said is right now he is... Let me get this on full screen. Okay. Right now they are going with the leaving the amalgams up, and again, the positive side of that is to, you have there's just no downs. The only downside is your tank's going to be taking more damage, but it's such insignificant damage for the most part that it doesn't matter, and you're going to be able to buy more damage in the long run, okay? Plus you don't have to deal with rolling and people taking damage from that, wasting extra heals and shit like that. So this is the strat that I would recommend using, especially if anybody's going through it on 25 minutes, what they're doing here as well. So it's just off tanking the 3 amalgs, doing the blood separately and things like that. As you can see here, you've got a couple people that are actually close enough to be getting the tendrils. Make sure that this goes for any guild. If you guys are doing this fight, make sure that no one is standing close enough, because you can be not standing in it but still be getting hit by the tendril, and it's just added damage. That's just a little quick thing. Alright, so this DK gets them. Oh my god, this guy's UI is like, I'm gonna get a seizure or something. Let's see. Gonna go look at what they've got going. Let's fast forward to how they're dealing with the first amalg. Okay. How many amalgs do you have up right here? I see 1, 2, 3.
Should be 3, yeah.
Okay. And okay, are you guys going to use the corruption here as the one you kill going? Okay, so we've got 28%. You guys are looking at around 25% worth of damage, 20 to 25%. So that's good. You see it's still getting slightly trimmed. Their main target amalg is in there somewhere at, I think that's it at 13% there. So their bloods. One real quick thing, if anybody's doing this on progression, you need to have an add-on, or at least someone that's smart that can keep track of the bloods that are on the ground. If you don't have an add-on, I mean, it's already incorporated in big wigs by now, but like say on progression, you know, there wasn't really a lot of them out there that kept track. You know, you want to know how many bloods are on the ground so you know when to pull that amalgam through. All right. One benefit thing that you could fix here, or real quick, how far are you guys getting in the fight right now? Are you guys getting to the third plate, or?
Yeah, right now we're on the third plate, trying to get to the second lift. We got the first one a couple times, and we're working on getting to the second one.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, you're pretty much right there at the very, you know, the breaking point. You push it over that, and you're where you need to be. Okay, so let's see. Let's just go through raid comp real quick. Who do you guys have providing the 5%? Do you have a fire mage, or all of your mages arcane?
They're all arcane.
Okay. Do you know that you don't have a 5%? Raid comp. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this open here. This is the 5%. Where is it? Yeah, the only two people that provide the spell critical strike chance is a fire mage and a warlock. So you guys are missing a raid buff there. You could toss that in to help out with, you know, a little bit of tendon damage. Not a game breaker, but this is something that'll help out. So. Definitely want to have at least the benefit to having a warlock in is you can knock out you know, multiple diva. You can have COE. Is Earthworm Gem, is that a feral?
Yes, it is.
Okay, are one of your DKs unholy or both frost?
I believe they were both frost.
Okay, so how are you guys getting your COE debuff active? Do you know?
I believe we have the warlock in there.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, wow, you do have a warlock. Holy shit, I didn't see it. I just thought you didn't because the guy doesn't have a health stone. But yeah, I guess that's just he didn't pick one up. Okay, that's my bad. So you got the warlock. That's good. You've got all the debuffs. Raid comp's looking pretty good. Got some reds. It looks like, and shaman. Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty good raid. Raid comp wise. I said that to bring up another point, but I don't remember what I was going to say. So we're just going to go ahead and play this. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. The one thing that people have to be really adamant about is if you're going to tank them like they're doing here, and that's in one pile of the amalgs, you have to be really disciplined because the first amalgam is going to get really low and you're going to be waiting on bloods. And if you keep it in the group, you know, you're making people have to play a lot more. You know, if it's in the group, you can't, you know, if you have Frost DKs, they're not going to be able to Howling Blast. Warriors aren't going to be able to, you know, I mean, anything that has splash damage is more or less going to it's going to reduce your ability to fine trim that amalg. So, you know, you could have your Feral run out and pull the one that's going to be pulled through out. That way you guys can just go, you know, balls deep and not worry about your damage on the next amalg or something like that. But it's not really that big of a deal as long as you guys are able to consistently replicate it. You should be good. So, let's see. They pull this through here, 646k. By the time it hits 9, it is at 540k. That's right about the mat. They should only get 2 pulses out of this. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's see what that puts them at. Let me pull 1 and 2. Okay, boom, good. 2 is pretty common. That's what you'll get. 1 is really hard to replicate. But if you can, that's really good. Okay, so let's see here. The guy, this. If you guys are ever having problems not popping the first 10, and the first thing I would tell you is your blood DK, have them get up there and help DPS because he's only got 3 amalgs on him and they don't have stacks and he can turn his back to them almost. I mean, and DPS a 10 and get a free like 700, 800k in. So that would help you out there. Let's see, your stun. Okay, see here they have a stun going off during the tendon cast, and that is like a really big no-no. And I don't know if this is like a common thing. I'm just pointing out everything from this vid, so I'm sure you guys are, you know, fine-tuning it and things like that. What I would recommend would be, you see this this one that you kill right. Okay, you see this. Okay, you killed. Okay, back up to a minute 53 in that blood decays vid. You can see the corruption is at 175k at 8%. Okay, what you want to have happen is you want to have that one, you already want to have that one dead. You want to have that 4th amalg active, okay? And then you want to have the new one that spawns trimmed till you can kill it. Like you guys have it at 100% right now as you're about to pop the plate. You always want to have the corruption at sub 5%. So either one or two things. You need to adjust it to where your first corruption dies slower, or it needs to die a lot faster to where you guys can start working on the new one. Okay. What we do, we choose the killing it faster. We kill the fourth. We get the fourth Amalg out within the first minute of the fight, and then we use the other corruption to kill during the stun. So like where this is going to stun you guys during the expose, like right here, you're going to see it. Yeah, that right there at like 218, absolutely killing DPS, like killing it, because you know, especially if there's let's see, Unholy Sin gets picked up. That's a DK. You've got New Baroni, which is a rogue. Yeah, man. And then Clutched, who is a... What is he? Hunter. Okay.
Hunter.
Yeah, so you got a rogue, hunter, and a DK picked up. So 3 DPS. So, yeah, that's not as big of a deal on the first plate, but on the third plate, that's, you know, it's a game changer. And one bad stun can be the difference between, you know, killing it or not killing it. So again, you want to have that corruption at around 5% or less going into the plate popping. That way healers and a tank can switch to it and, you know, break it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that might have just been a bad first kill for us on those corruptions there.
Okay.
We're usually pretty strict on it.
Okay, yeah, that's good then. I was just
yeah,
pointing that out. Okay, so let's move on here. Let's see how they're doing the... Okay, the second, they're going to be going into the... Okay, they got the Amalg pulling through. Okay, boom, here we go. Got a few extra bloods on the ground here. On the first plate, you kind of want to have it where you're keeping up with the bloods. As soon as the 9th blood is up on the first Amalg, you pull it through, and as soon as... You should have the Amalg low enough to almost as soon as the 9th blood is down for the second pop that you're ready to go as well. So, all in all, not that bad. It's only like 1 extra pile there too. It's not that big of a deal. So, let's see here. There's 2 Amalgs up. Okay, let's see if your DK gets on the tendon. The DK's not really getting on the tendon. It looks like he's helping out because you're going to get another stun here, maybe. Yeah, you got another stun during this. Are you guys able to still 2-pop, hopefully? And yes, okay. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately that's really doable because of, you know, the changes to the fight and the, you know, the nerfs and whatnot. I mean, like if you guys ever really, and for any guild that's out there that has that's still really strapped for DPS, you guys can't really have that happen, you know. But if you got the DPS to deal with it, you know, it buys you a little bit of leeway. So as you can see here, they were able to adapt, make it happen, and they kind of just they just had a little rough first plate. So we're gonna see how it goes for the duration here on the second plate. This guy now has 4 Amalgs, and they're gonna be rolling. One quick thing I would suggest about this is if you're gonna drop the barrier, you probably want the whole raid in the barrier. It seems like there's still a few people outside, or maybe that's just a tank. Now there's a 4 melee, it looks like. So, yeah. Are you guys using the barriers on the rolls just because, what exactly? Are you deciding to use the barrier on the roll for?
I think that's just how we allocated the cooldowns at that point. I think what you were talking about earlier with having it for the explosions might be a better option.
Yeah. And I mean, I have seen quite a few videos of people doing like cooldowns during the rolls. I mean, it's just, the thing about the rolls is if you don't have anybody in too early, and then you make the call when the last corruption is like 10%, you have them, you call to get in, and everybody gets in. You're gonna be in and out of that in no time, and it's just, you know, popping some huge raid city like that it's still doable. It's just, you know, you're making it harder during the Amalg blow explosions and things.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. So they're clean here. They got a new Amalg spawning. So DK picks it up. Uses his death grip and his taunt to pick that up. We could use one of those for a blood. That's he looks like the bloods are being picked up by. Who do you guys have tanking the bloods up there?
That should be me, the warrior still.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were a DPS warrior. Holy shit! I didn't know you were
No.
Okay. Oh, so you must be the tank kiter on the third plate.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you like that?
It's interesting.
Yeah. The DK is not standing in the healing rain, I don't think, so you may want to just tell him to adjust his positioning. I see a GS on someone. You guys have a Holy Priest in here?
Yeah, we were using one.
Ooh. What? I mean, is that just because you don't have many options as far as healing comp, or he's just a really good healer on the Priest?
She made some points for having Holy in it, and it's for the nice passive healing for just the buffs overall. And it ended up being okay.
Yeah, I think they have a really short cooldown on like DM or something. I mean, it's not horrible, but like the only thing that I really just don't like about the Holy Priest is you don't have any mitigating cooldowns. You don't, there's no PS, there's no barrier, there's no AM, there's no, Spirit Link. It's just, I mean, the DM's pretty nice, and just to make a quick change, I mean, that Priest can D him on every roll, and you guys can use the barrier on the pops. I mean, but if what you guys are, I mean, you don't want to be in there and be like, oh, well, we need to change all that, because you start changing everything, it starts getting worse. I mean, if you're getting to the 6 pop, you're obviously doing it pretty solid, so just, yeah, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. Let's just see if I can, the only thing I've noticed really so far is the timings of the stuns, but maybe that was just the first plate. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, we're going to fast forward here. Okay, the DK is going to pull this through. Looks like about a ton of bloods here. Does he have 4-piece, your blood DK?
Yes.
When exactly is he using it? Just curious.
I'm not sure on exact timings of when he is. I think he just kind of calls it whenever he wants to use it.
We're going to pause it right there, and then I'm actually going to go to a log and then take a look. So let's go to like let's see, we got 11, we got 12:25 pull. This one's actually got to be pretty close to a kill. So let's see how low, let's see how
that
often.
Should be the last one in there.
Yeah. That's what we're going to go off of. So we're going to go to players, the DK, blood DK. When are you using your 4-piece shield wall?
I was using it for the second explosion on the first lift, and then pretty much whenever they called for it after that. It's usually on explosions.
Yeah. What I would recommend, having your 4-piece and the Disc Priest, you use your shield wall every first explosion, and he uses his barrier every second explosion. And I mean, dude, you guys are looking at like, it's just going to be jokes as far as raid damage, because you've got 20% and then 25% reduction. I mean, it's pretty huge. I mean, I'm looking at the parts here on the Storming Pull. He didn't even pop VB for the first 4 minutes of the fight, so you're looking at probably the entire first plate. I mean, ultimately, you want to have him pop in VB as soon as the first like 3 or 4 debuffs go out, because it's going to be up when he needs it again, and it allows the healers to save mana at the beginning, just because it's helping out. Make sure he has it glyphed, because the HP gain on this fight's not really doing anything at all for you. But yeah, he did a better job towards the end here. It looks like he was popping it almost on cooldown, which is about what needs to happen. Just you kind of want to have it down with each one of the Spirit Links, since Spirit Link is such a huge part of what's going on. So let's see here. So you got the Spirit Link down here at like 620 in this vid, and there's no VB active. So I mean, your healers are making it happen regardless, but it just could make their life a little bit easier. I see you back here picking bloods up. I see you guys are able to get the 10. Okay, so you have another stun go out with, yeah, like 15% time left on the tendon. So yeah, just that would be a pretty big part. Just make sure you're working on. I mean, you guys broke it really quick, but you got the tendon to. Oh, whoa. Let's see what it got to. Okay, so you still got to 42%. That's good. Could have been probably sub 40 if the stun, the grip wouldn't have went off. But again, first 2 plates, not that big of a deal. I mean, you guys have a pretty good hold of what's going on. Fast forward here. How many healers are you guys using total in this?
I believe it's 5.
Okay. And one thing that I don't really have the time to do right now, you want to go through and look at how often you're able to actually, you know what, I do have the time. I'll make the time. All right, we're going to see what we're going to do here. We're going to go back to this first pop We're going to choose the second plate, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here, and then you can do it for the first plate as well. You want to be... Okay, here we go. Boom, tendon is up at 6:15 in this vid. Alright, now we're going to fast forward and see how long that is for the second pop. So we go from 6:15 to... Oh man. And it's... Okay, it actually cut out. Okay, but... Okay, so I guess what? The vid doesn't... Or this guy's POV doesn't have the third plate on it?
It comes back. I think
Okay.
it blacks out a couple times.
That's fine. Alright, well, real quick, I got the numbers I need. You guys have like a minute... You guys have about a minute 57 between plate pops. You need to get that trimmed down to 90 seconds or less. Okay, so you need to shave 25 plus seconds off of that second plate, and that's going to be huge for you by the time... I mean, bloods are spawning like every other second, so you're dealing with, that's, at the end of the fight, you're probably dealing with 20 plus less bloods overall, if not more, and I mean, that's a shit ton. So,
Yeah.
What I would recommend is just explaining DPS the priority of what they need to be switching to. So you need to have them understand that when the plate is not popped, I mean, obviously burning tendon is number one priority. Put a minimal amount of melee on the taking care of the bloods. You've got a couple frost DKs and looks like DPS warrior. So I mean, 2 frost DKs and a DPS warrior, and if you have a ret, those 4 completely able to control bloods on their own. Outside of that, you need to have people blowing the amalg up. Like, I mean, it's got to be, you need to be waiting on the bloods, not waiting on the amalg. Like, that's the mindset people have to have. And if you're able to do that, you'll be able to trim easily 20 plus seconds off of each one of those first 2 plates. So, let's see here and see. Okay, we're back here on the third plate. And let's see what happens. So we're killing corruptions. So they're going to be rolling to the right. So we got the barrier down again. Or no, sorry, that was a D&D. Okay, see, one thing about... Let's see. From the time that it takes people to start moving in to the time it actually rolls is... people move in. Now people are getting hit, so that's... Okay, that's actually pretty quick, so that's good. That's a good roll. You don't want to have people. But you basically don't want to have people waiting, just taking damage from people to get in. So you guys are really good with that. You're gonna kill this thing. At this point, are you already kiting? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's oof. That's yeah. You of all people will benefit the most from getting the 20 plus seconds save per plate on the first 2, because your life you're going to be in the third plate and you're going to be like, am I tanking the same fight? Like, what's going on? Because you're going to have so many fewer bloods up. I mean, you've got the amount of bloods up right now that you need to have on the second pop on the first pop. So, yeah.
Right, and that's mainly just from amalg damage being slower?
Yes, correct. Because the higher your amalg damage is, the faster you're going to be able to pop, and the faster you're going to be able to pop, the faster you get to the third plate. Yeah, so it's just like a domino effect. All right, so we got this. Let's go ahead and see how they go here. Hopefully this doesn't black out. Looks like it's a pretty good pull going. Regardless of all this, you guys are still keeping it together, so it's really solid. What's your kite like, Rotate? You just run back there and you do you use heroic leap, intervene, or I mean, what do you usually go with?
I usually, whenever leaps up, I'm trying to leap from the top to the bottom, and then I shockwave at the bottom, and then we try to get a wrath at the top as well. And then if I need a grip, I'll call for the grip.
Okay, you use intervene much or no?
Yeah, whenever I can. If I see someone close, I can try to intervene.
Yeah.
And I intercept other bloods and stuff too.
Do you have problems really dying much at all kiting or no?
I have a few times, but I'm definitely getting the hand of it a little bit better.
Yeah. I would say just having somebody as a designated intervene target and just make a macro to them. That'd be pretty big. Just have them stand where you need, you need to stand here, and then they're just. I mean, good God, you guys have so many bloods up. This is crazy. Okay, so, alright, it blacks out again. Let's see if it comes back. Okay, yeah, we're back. What percent did you get the tendon to? I'm just curious. I didn't even get to...
It was probably around 50 or so.
Are you guys popping lust on that one or no?
Yeah. Yeah, or it's probably around 40 to 45, I think.
Okay, I can already tell you right now.
I might show it in my video.
Looking at... Alright, I'm pausing it right... Okay, tendons up. You guys are going to town and another stun, man. Like, yeah, that's that one's pretty killer. You guys gotta definitely make sure that you're getting those corruptions to sub 5%. And then let's see, let's go back and at this point, I mean, these guys are doing a really good job of keeping it up how they're going, but as you guys can see here in the stream, they're just getting overwhelmed, and that's how this fight works. It just there's no heart and rage. There just gets to be so many bloods that you cannot keep up, you know. So, as you can see here, they're going to wipe here as they're about to pop the 6th time. I mean, that's as close as you need to get. That's like the winning part of the fight right here. You pop it that 6th time and then go to town. So, I'll just skim through your vid real quick and look at what's going on here. Is this the same pull or a different pull?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay, so let's actually just go to the 3rd plate where we were blacking out. Look from his POV. So he's got the hardest job on this fight. You guys are going to see here the POV from, because once you're on the 3rd plate, it literally just comes down to your kiter tank being really good at what he does. And you see here he's doing a really good job of kiting and using, I guess he's probably going to leap here. Yep. And then getting around those, that's good. Actually, you don't get to see a lot of the action going on. You just there's another leap. Should do a pretty good job kiting. The I don't know. One thing that could also help you out is have a macro that assists your Blood Death Knight, because it looks like he's the one that's tanking the bloods at this point.
Yeah, he has a bunch of them there.
Yeah, you can actually have a macro that taunts off of him, and just spam that and have vigilance on him, and you'll have unlimited taunts. And you know, if you're taunting 50 or 70, it doesn't really matter. You know, you're still kiting at more than you can tank. So pulling them off him as much as you can, and just tell him to focus on picking any up that are on healers and things like that. That would probably be a little benefit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, this is for the stream watching this. This is pretty much a. I'll have these links to their YouTubes in the highlight tomorrow. That's going to be on YouTube, and you guys can check them out and things like that. But yeah, it's a video of a guild that's right on the point of where they need to be. They're right there. As you can see, him using a charge to get to that corruption. That's really good. Using his mobility to his benefit as a warrior. So yeah, just quick things I noticed from the vid that you could probably fix a little bit is just corruption timing, and that'll just come through just getting the reputation. You're just not going to happen in 1 or 2 pulls. Just get a few pulls in. People need to understand that yes, you're kind of close, but you need to fix things to get over that hump. The 2nd pop on the 3rd plate is the hardest pop of all of them. So just because you're getting there doesn't mean that everything's good. You definitely need to refine it. So just make sure your guild knows that, and you can refine the timings of your corruption pops or corruption kills. And I would recommend switching around the cooldowns a bit to make healer's life a little bit easier. With like I said, you're either the barrier on the 1st pop of every plate, or your shield wall on the 1st pop, and then whichever one you choose to not use use your just between barrier and shield wall, you need to have one of those up for every single Amalg pop. And number one thing that you need to change, you don't even have to change any of that other stuff, but the number one thing I would suggest, you can keep everything else going the same, and you guys will probably be fine. You guys have to trim at least 20 seconds off of those first 2 plates. And just by doing that would either, if you have class variety, get a few more single target classes in there maybe, or just have people understand the value of Amalg damage. It's not all about tendon damage. If you guys see, here's the thing, if you get the stuns better, you're going to buy yourself some leeway on the tendon, because you're going to have a lot more DPS time on the tendon because the stuns aren't going off, which means you can afford to have more like classes that are suitable for say like a, what is it, a Destro lock, I think, with their Bane of whatever that does equal damage to. Like I know we had our Warlock that was doing that. They had their Bane active. It was lower tendon damage, but it was substantially higher Amalg damage and things like that. You know, so it's all just it all works off of itself. So yeah, that's the number one thing I would say take out of that would just be to trim the 20 plus seconds off each plate. You want to go for 90 seconds. You need that plate to be popping up at the 90-second mark.
Okay.
Cool stuff, man. Okay, so just look at these logs. Let's take a look at your tendon damage, and then I'm just going to get some afterthoughts from you and go through any questions you have, and we're going to wrap it up. So we're going to look at their burning tendon damage here and go to that. Okay, then you see their rogues, that's really good. See the hunters, yeah, they're down there. Got a lock, Ellie's shaman. So, I mean, you know, don't know the players in your guild as well as you do. So just, you know, make sure everybody's min-maxing their tendon damage, because tendon damage makes every bit of the fight easier. Because whenever you have leeway on tendon damage, you can afford to have, you know, other areas not so hot. Let's actually look at amalgamation damage, and let's take a look at, because this is where you guys are kind of lacking right now. Looks like the Red Paladin's probably full-time on Bloods, as well as this Frost DK here. Yeah, if you guys could fit in a Moonkin or have the lock go Destro, I think is, yeah. Either one of those would substantially increase your Amalg damage and put you guys probably where you need to be.
Okay.
Cool. Alright, so you got any questions?
Not really. At the start there, when you were talking about the first 4 corruptions, were you killing? You said you were killing 4 of them.
No,
getting that next one now, or are you just leaving?
No, we kill 3, and then once I think it's once the 5th blood spawns, we kill the 4th one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you
And
wait a
then
bit, and then yeah, it lines up perfectly after that.
Okay. That's something I think we haven't been doing, which might help a bit.
Yep, cool stuff.
for
Awesome.
timing.
Okay, well, I mean, if you have any other questions pop up, I mean, you've got me on Skype now. Just hit me up on Skype, and I will answer any questions you've got. If you want to stream, and I'll watch your guys stream or whatever. I mean, anything I can do to help you out, man, because I really do appreciate you, you know, providing the vids and hopping on here and allowing us to get, like, you know, one-on-one interaction with people. So that's awesome, and hope you guys are able to. I'm sure you will. It's not a question of if at this point. It's just when. So, yeah, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really good that you're doing this, and I think it's really a cool thing that you guys are doing, and you keep doing it.
Okay, cool, man. Good stuff. All right, we'll talk to you later on, I guess, then.
All right, see you later.
Yep, later. Okay, so that is the end of the one-on-one deal that we have going on. Okay, again, I'm going to have all this highlighted, the whole 2-hour segment that we've had going on here. It's going to be on YouTube. You guys make sure to subscribe to my YouTube, and it'll tell you as soon as it pops up. You guys can go on it, rewatch it, show it to your guild. This is a fight that a lot of guilds get to where you just hit that wall, okay? And I pretty much give you, or have given you, every bit of information you need to make your guild successful. And if there's anything that I've left out, there's still a lot more that I could go into detail about. We just don't have the time. But if you have questions, subscribe to me on Twitter and post any questions you have on there, and you know, we'll definitely make you know, give you the info that you need. So I appreciate everybody watching the stream. Make sure you guys follow the channel and all the other social links as well. A couple things also. Again, all those links are going to be on the YouTube description. So every bit of the videos that we watch on YouTube and the logs, those will be over there for reference points as well. Tomorrow we've got some raid leader stuff going on. The schedule's over here to my right or left, depending on where you're looking at it from. This Friday, special guest is going to be a Taxus. It's a mage from Blood Legion. So if you guys are a mage or know anybody that has mage questions, mage advice, anything on you know, PvE mage stuff, you guys can you know, hop in here on Friday for the special guest. He's got a Twitter account that is AtaxusBL, twitter.com/AtaxusBL. Somebody can toss it in chat. You guys post your armories on there. He will be going through some armory audits on Friday. If you're a mage only, you post your armory audit on Ataxis' Twitter. Okay, it's Ataxis BL. All right. So again, thank you guys for watching. We're on a couple commercials, and yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot from the Spine walkthrough. Again, it's going to be on YouTube, so make sure you guys are, following me so you know when it pops up. So good stuff, and we got more going on tonight. We got raids going on. We will also have, I think, some WoW TCG cards going on. One sec. Let me see what I've got going on here. Okay, so yeah, there's a screenshot of the WoW cards that we're going to be giving away and all that stuff. So, good stuff, and make sure you guys are around here later tonight. All right, so thanks again, and we will be back in a few. All right, thanks.